You think she's not chasing you because you're not enough. But the truth is harsher than that. She's not chasing because you're not leading your own life. Listen, this is going to sting if you've been living on hope and dopamine, if you've been confusing attention with connection, if you've been doing all the reaching, all the explaining, all the good morning texts like you're paying rent in validation. You think consistency means you chase harder. You think showing more means you deserve more. But attraction doesn't reward effort. It rewards value, certainty, and self-respect. And if you're the kind of man who needs reminders because the world will sell you comfort and call it love, then subscribe right now. Not for me, for you. Because you don't need more tips. You need truth on repeat until your nervous system stops craving scraps. Here's the thesis. Here's what it really means when people say, she'll chase when you stop chasing. It does not mean play games. It does not mean become cold. It means you stop making her the point of your life and you become the point. You stop auditioning. You start selecting. You stop negotiating your worth. You start enforcing it. The misconception is stop overchasing and create space. Simple. You think women chase a man who tries the hardest. Hard truth. She chases the man who is hardest to move off his center. Why it happens? Because feminine desire responds to direction, to groundedness, to emotional containment, not emotional leakage. What it costs you when you don't get this. You turn into a polite beggar with good intentions and zero gravity. Reframe. You don't need to be more nice. You need to be more solid. So let's talk about the 8 things. Not theory, not fluff. 8 shifts that flip the dynamic without manipulation. Because this isn't about tricking her. It's about reclaiming you. And when you reclaim you, the right women feel it. The wrong. Women can't use you. That's the point. First, you stop being available on demand. Not because you're busy like some fake high-value cosplay, because you actually have a life that matters. Right now, if you answer instantly, cancel plans instantly, rearrange your day instantly, you're communicating one thing. I have nothing better going on than you. You think you're showing interest, but what you're actually showing is hunger. And hunger is not masculine. Hunger is not leadership. Hunger is a kid outside the bakery with his face pressed to the glass. You stop that. You respond when you can. You set plans and keep them. You don't sprint to your phone like she's a fire alarm. You don't punish her with silence either. You just move like a man with a schedule, like a man with a mission. Presence versus desperation. Calm versus compulsive. That contrast changes everything. And if you're scared that doing this will lose her, good. That fear is the leash around your throat. That's called scarcity mindset. That's called, I think she's my only shot. And focus on your mission and purpose, it makes you act like a man who can't replace her. So she subconsciously agrees with you. Second, you stop over-explaining. You stop giving speeches. You stop writing paragraphs. You stop trying to talk someone into seeing your value. Let me ask you a question. When a man is respected, does he have to plead his case? When a man is desired, does he have to convince? Or does his behavior already say, this is the standard. This is who I am. Join me or don't. Over-explaining is the language of insecurity. It's you asking for permission to be taken seriously. It's you trying to preempt rejection by offering a detailed PowerPoint of your intentions. And women do not fall for intentions. They respond to how you show up consistently and confidently. So you start speaking like a man who trusts himself. Short, clear, direct. No emotional vomiting. No, I just want you to understand where I'm coming from after she disrespects you. You say what's true once, then you watch what she does. That's called discernment. That's called self-respect. Third, you stop rewarding mixed signals. This one is massive, and it's where most men lose their spine. If she's hot and cold, if she's flaky, if she disappears, then comes back with a, "Hey, stranger," and you respond like a golden retriever who just heard a food bowl shake, you're training her to treat you casually. Read that again. You're training her. You think you're being patient, but what you're actually doing is teaching her that your boundaries are imaginary. And what happens when someone believes your boundaries are imaginary? They walk through them every time. So, you stop. You stop giving girlfriend energy to a woman who gives you part-time effort. You stop acting grateful for breadcrumbs. You stop acting like access to you is free. Because here's the root cause. Mixed signals create uncertainty, and uncertainty creates addiction in men who haven't built a life they're proud of. You call it chemistry. It's not chemistry. That's called intermittent reinforcement. That's called a slot machine. And you're not a gambler. You're a man. So you flip the system. Control your emotions like a leader. You make consistency the only thing that gets rewarded. If she's consistent, she gets your attention. If she's inconsistent, she gets your absence. Not out of spite, out of principle. Fourth, you build a life that doesn't need her. Not a life that excludes women, a life that isn't dependent on them. Most men say they want a relationship, but what they really want is relief. Relief from loneliness, relief from boredom, relief from their own lack of direction. So, they meet a woman and dump that weight on her like she's a therapist with benefits, and she feels it. She might not be able to explain it, but she feels it. A man without purpose doesn't feel romantic. He feels like a project. So, you build, you train, you work, you create, you compete, you sharpen, you sleep on time, you keep promises to yourself when nobody claps. You become the kind of man who doesn't need a woman to feel alive, which makes you the kind of man a woman can actually admire. And yes, this changes female psychology toward you. Because the feminine is drawn to a man with direction. Not because she's weak, because polarity is real. A woman can relax in the presence of a man who is already carrying himself. A woman can soften when she trusts your spine. Fifth, you become emotionally disciplined. Not emotionally dead, disciplined. There's a difference. A weak man leaks emotion. He panics, he spirals, he seeks reassurance. He gets triggered and starts interrogating. Who was that? Why didn't you text back? Do you even like me? He calls it communication. It's not. It's anxiety with a microphone. A strong man feels his emotions but doesn't let them drive the car. He notices the jealousy. He notices the fear. He notices the urge to chase. And then he chooses his behavior anyway. That's called regulation. That's called masculine emotional leadership. Be mysterious and unpredictable. And it's rare. Women don't chase a man, they can easily destabilize. Because if you're easy to destabilize, you're not safe to follow. Not safe emotionally, not safe structurally, not safe as a leader of anything. So, what do? You slow down. You breathe. You wait before you react. You don't text when you're flooded. You don't argue to win. You state your standard and you exit confusion. You stop chasing clarity from someone who's benefiting from your confusion. You stop trying to be chosen by someone who hasn't earned you. You stop turning your nervous system into her schedule. Sixth, you set boundaries and you enforce them. No anger, no yelling, no theatrics, just consequence. Let's define something. A boundary isn't a preference. A boundary is a line with a cost. If you say, I don't like when you disrespect me, but you still take her out Friday night after she disrespected you Thursday night, that's not a boundary. That's a suggestion. That's called self-betrayal. And self-betrayal is the fastest way to make yourself unattractive to your own soul, never mind to her. So you become clean with your standards. If she cancels last minute repeatedly, you stop rebooking. If she talks to you crazy, you end the conversation. If she keeps you hidden, you stop offering boyfriend-level access. You don't threaten, you don't lecture, you don't negotiate, you just act. Because here's the hard truth. The only people who get angry at your boundaries are the people who benefited from you not having any. Think about it. That. Who loses when you respect yourself? Users, time wasters, attention addicts. So when you enforce boundaries, yes, some women will pull away. Let them. You didn't lose a soulmate. You set clear standards and boundaries, lost a liability. Seventh, you stop trying to be liked and start being respected. This one is where your identity has to shift. A lot of men are addicted to being the good guy. You want to be seen as kind, understanding, patient, low maintenance. But the hidden motive underneath is fear. Fear that if you make a demand, you'll be abandoned. Fear that if you say no, you'll be alone. Fear that if you lead, you'll be judged. So you shapeshift. You become agreeable. You become convenient. You become whatever you want, babe. And then you wonder why she doesn't value you. Because value requires friction, not drama. Friction, a spine, a man with a point of view, a man who will disappoint her to stay aligned with himself. Let's talk female psychology truth without the corny internet nonsense. Many women don't chase a man because he's perfect. They chase because he makes them feel something rare. The feeling of being met by someone who cannot be bent by moods, guilt, or seduction. That's the man. He's not rude, he's not cold, he's not manipulative. He's simply unavailable for disrespect. He's unavailable for confusion. He's unavailable for half love. And that unavailability isn't a tactic, it's identity. Eighth, you choose her last. And I don't mean last like you devalue her. I mean last like you stop crowning her before she's proven anything. Most men give away the prize in the first week. You give attention, time, compliments, exclusivity, energy, emotional availability, future talk, all up front. Why? Because you want her to lock in. Because you're trying to secure her before someone else does. Because you're negotiating with fear. But a man with improve your appearance and body language. Self-respect doesn't rush to hand over his throne. He observes. He tests consistency over time. He watches character under pressure. He looks at how she treats waiters, how she handles conflict, whether she's accountable, whether she brings peace or chaos. You don't just ask, do I like her? You ask, does she deserve me? That's called standards. That's called masculine selection. And when you flip into selection, something happens. The dynamic changes. She senses that you're not trying to win. You're evaluating. You're calm. You're grounded. You're not impressed by beauty alone. You're not hypnotized by flirtation alone. And that's when the chase begins. Not because you played hard to get, but because you became hard to shake. Now, let me paint the archetype for you because you need an image to step into. He's the man who wakes up and his life already has direction before any text message arrives. His workouts are non-negotiable. His work is structured. His friendships are real. His finances are handled. His word means something to him. He doesn't say yes to everything because he doesn't need everyone to approve of him. He's warm, but he's not soft. He's present, but he's not porous. He listens, but he doesn't absorb chaos. When a woman tests him, because women test not to be evil but to feel structure, he doesn't crumble. He doesn't rage. He smiles, he stays calm, and he stays consistent. If she's feminine, cooperative, respectful, he gives her more of him, more protection, more provision of energy, attention, affection. If she's disrespectful, inconsistent, entitled, he removes access with zero theatrics, not as punishment, as alignment. And that's why he's rare. Most men are either doormats or dictators. He's neither. He's a man with boundaries and heart, a man with standards and calm, a man who doesn't master confident communication, need to dominate because he already governs himself. Now, let's make this actionable. Tight sequence, no fluff. Do this, stop this, redirect, do this. Schedule your week before you schedule her. If she wants time, she fits into a life that's already built. Stop this. Texting all day to keep her interested. That's not connection. That's anxiety management. Redirect. Send fewer messages with more intention. Set dates. Get off the phone. Build real memories. Do this. Speak in clean statements. I'm free Tuesday at 7. Let's do it. Stop this whenever you want. I'm down like you have no life. Redirect. Lead. Then observe whether she follows with effort. Do this. Reward consistency. If she's on time, appreciative, communicative, you reciprocate. Stop this. Rewarding disrespect because she's pretty. Redirect. Let beauty open the door, but let character keep her in the room. Do this. If something feels off, pause. Don't accuse, don't chase. Pause. Stop this. Interrogations and emotional essays. Redirect. Calm inquiry once, then watch behavior. Behavior is the truth. Do this. Enforce one boundary this month that you've been afraid to enforce. Stop this. Empty warnings. Redirect. Consequences without anger. That doesn't work for me. Take care and mean it. Do this. Build one pillar of your identity that has nothing to do with dating, fitness, skill, business, craft. Stop this. Making romance your main hobby. Redirect. Become a man who is already proud before anyone claps. And here's the part you need to hear because this is where your old self will fight you when you change. Some women will call you distant. What they mean is you're no longer easy to use. Some will call you different. What they mean is you're no longer predictable in your. The ultimate mindset shift that changes everything, self-betrayal. Some will test harder because they're checking if your spine is real. Don't panic. Don't perform. Don't explain. Hold your line calmly because the real win isn't that she starts chasing you. The real win is that you stop chasing what isn't chasing you. You stop begging for effort. You stop negotiating for respect. You stop calling anxiety love. You stop calling attachment chemistry. You stop trying to be the exception to someone else's patterns. And then, whether she chases or she leaves, you still win because you kept yourself. That's the identity reset. You are not a man who waits to be chosen. You are a man who chooses. You are not a man who trades dignity for attention. You are a man who protects his peace like it's sacred. You are not a man who needs a woman to feel valuable. You are a man who brings value because you demand it from yourself first. And yes, when you live like that, the right women feel attention, a pull, a curiosity, because you're no longer chasing their validation. You're offering a path, and you're not begging anyone to walk it. So, if this hit you, final message from Lauren Ponce in the chest, subscribe. Not because I need numbers, because you need a place that keeps you honest. You need a feed that doesn't numb you, it sharpens you. And you're not doing this alone. You're with men who are done lying to themselves, done accepting scraps, done living like passengers in their own lives. You are the answer. Now act like it.